presentation is on the utilization of social media as a communication tool in the football industry. How football clubs around the world and marketers have been now exposed into advanced technologies, transformation and integration of opportunities because of the different platforms that have existed throughout the years with traditional media and then now with the evolution of social media. Therefore, this study looked at the relationships, impacts and outcomes of using social media as a communication tool and how that also impacts on the fan engagement with the 3 teams from the KZN province that are in the PSL Premier League, namely KwaZulu FC, Golden Arrows FC and Pietermaritzburg United, which was based in Pietermaritzburg but has now going to be moving to Durban. And at that time of the study, it was part of the Premier League and now has been relegated to 2nd division. So the aim of the study was to gain a deeper insight into the use of social media as a communication tool in the KZN football industry. And the objectives, the first one was to look at which social media platform is used the most in the football industry by these 3 teams that were selected for the study, and to assess the role of the current social media platforms that are used. And then the last one was to identify any communication barriers that are experienced by these teams when they are using social media as a communication tool. Moving on to the literature review, the things that I looked at was social media as a communication tool overall. And as I mentioned, that social media has evolved over the years. When social media was firstly introduced, the whole point was for people as individuals to share moments of their lives with their loved ones and friends. But then over time and over years, social media has changed and the interaction has moved from individuals to communities and organizations. Therefore, social media has taken different forms over the years, moving from being blogs to now digital magazines, podcasts, videos, and you have also pictures that are posted on social media by these individuals, communities, and organizations. And then also research says that social media has become like a primary tool for fans to connect with the sports clubs and their favorite athletes. And then moving on, looking at football industry as a brand and as a business. So the business of sports influences how fans spend their money, because as much as it has to do with passion, they are also a business. So whatever that clubs or the football industry does, it also influences fans to spend money on the clubs by purchasing the club's merchandise and buying tickets to go watch matches. Therefore, social media has been an important marketing strategy to include for these clubs and also how they interact with their fans. And then communication within the football industry, as I said, that social media has now been integrated as a strategic marketing tool. So it has become an important aspect of the football clubs as it encourages growth. Also, fans enjoy when they interact with their favorite clubs and their athletes on social media. And research also states that effective and direct communication with football club stakeholders, it is important. Therefore, the primary aim of brand communication in sport is to build and maintain relationships between the club and the fans. And then moving on to look at the communication barriers in the sports industry using social media platforms, research states that the power of social media users is that they hold control of how information is shared on social media compared with traditional media where there will be editors, the organization will be in control of what they want to share with their stakeholders. But with social media, because it is immediate, it happens that people will demand the kind of information that they want. Therefore, the organization sometimes that will shift the control and will also create confusion in terms of the information that they can share or do not want to share on their social media. And also, this comes with also having the people that are trained into handling those type of situations, and also having enough support to deal with those barriers that they might experience when they use social media as a communication tool. Then I also looked at fan engagement, and we said that clubs, they use social media to communicate and engage with their fans. So social media has changed the way clubs or communicate with their fans. As I said, that communication now is immediate. Therefore, it also allows the fans, no matter where they are or where they live, to also come together and share their experiences through the use of Facebook groups, Instagram lives, and also YouTube channels where they get to share their own views and share their similar interests about the club. And moving on to the methodology of this research, for this research I used a combination approach where I used a qualitative method, which was semi-structured interviews and ethnography techniques. So with ethnography was that it was used to study social media posts on platforms such as Facebook, X, which was formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. As I mentioned on the objectives, so research questions for this study was to look at which social media platform was used the most, the role of social media as a communication tool, and the communication barriers that are experienced by the clubs that are using social media as a communication tool. And then moving on the research design of the study, as I mentioned, that I used two methods for the study. So which was qualitative and ethnography. And then for ethnography, the definition for it is basically is a study of beliefs, social interactions and behaviors of small groups that involves participation, observation over a long period of time, and interpretation of the data collected. So for this study, ethnography data was collected by retrieving or screen grabbing information posted by the teams and defining various social media platforms such as Facebook, X, Twitter, and Instagram. And also interviews three social media people that manages these social media platforms of these teams were interviewed for the study, and also 150 social media posts were also extracted from different social media platforms, and we monitored the comment sections were monitored, and the engagement between the clubs and the fans was also monitored. Moving on to the findings and conclusion of the study. The data that was collected through ethnography was textually analyzed, and the data captured from the interviews were deductively coded with the aid of the software NVivo version 12. So in this process, the data was divided into different meaningful codes, which the codes were based on different similarities and differences and meanings that emerged from the transcribed data. So this process allowed the researchers to fine-tune the data into convenient themes and sub-themes, which the first one is the purpose of using social media as a communication tool. So therefore it was to the immediate communication and to analyze also the fan engagement. And as you can see on the slides, some of the posts that were used that I got from the ethnography was that I identified that the teams were using to share this information on their social media platforms was things such as like stats, whether player stats or the team stats, tickets, sales, and games, upcoming games, and then posts that relate to staff members, technical teams, the admin staff, and the players as well. And then it will also be highlights of games and upcoming matches as well. And then another thing was the social media used by these football clubs. Okay, and the study also found that clubs they use the social media platforms to engage with their fans the most compared to other stakeholders that they have. And then social media accounts and its benefits. From the interviews, it was guided that the teams prefer to follow the PSL teams, their supporters, journalists, and sponsors, because they found that it was beneficial for them to also know what's happening with the other teams and with their sponsors and the PSL, so that they can receive the news and share that with their fans as well. The effectiveness of social media regarding organizational objectives. So they also stated that they found that it was important that they integrate social media into their organizational communication plans, because it was something that it was not part of their plans, but it's something that they're doing because everyone else is using social media. And they also highlighted budgets and resource provisions, that they do not have enough resources, they do not have enough people that assist them with social media management. And then strengths of using social media. As we know that social media has risen to new heights over the years. Therefore, they've acknowledged that that has helped them to strengthen their relationships with their fans and to also stay on the competitive edge. And then the weaknesses of social media that were highlighted, as well as barriers, it was the lack of equipment, and also the backlash that they get, and they don't know how to deal with the backlash that they might get from social media because they don't have trained staff that manage their social media platforms, and also the fact that there is the lack of editorial structure. Anyone can post without the communication going through the right channels, so they do not, the club does not have control of what goes into their social media platforms, compared to when they write articles or statements to send out to the media. And then the importance of social media to football clubs. So they found that it was important for them to continue and invest their money and resources into the club, into social media, so that they can be able to address social issues, structured communication in their growing brand, and also to use social media as a vehicle to communicate with fans. And then lastly, recommendations that were recommended to the club by the research was that they need to invest budgets and resources, and also improve the kind of content that they put out on their social media pages, and also hire experienced social media team that will be able to grow their brand or also communicate with their fans, and also increase engagement for their fans. Thank you.